guys, welcome to our second episode of the 5 million gold challenge, and we're starting this video out with my Death Knight doing the Najtar quest line, because I just realized that I hadn't done that, and it's really weird because this Death Knight was the first alt for BFA. I leveled this Death Knight to 120 like literally 3 months after BFA came out, because in the beginning I couldn't decide who I wanted to tank with. I had my Guardian Druid, which is abnormal. I usually main Boomkin, but because we didn't have a tank for the guild team, I wanted to be one of those important roles so that we could group up a little easier. So I had made 2 tanks, because I started with the Guardian Druid, and I love the Guardian Druid, and I love my Druid. I wouldn't have mained it for 15 years if I didn't love the Druid. But, to be honest, lately anyway, the Guardian Druid is just a snooze fest to fucking play. It's so fucking boring. You know, it's like watching paint dry or something. Like, you move slowly and like, oh god, it's just... So I've decided, well, what's a fun but can handle a lot of damage type class? And so it was a toss-up between my Death Knight and my Demon Hunter. But I just felt like my Demon Hunter, because the Demon Hunter's a leatherware, might be a little squishy, and so I went with the Death Knight. And so, long story short here, guys, that is why the Death Knight was the first alt leveled. That way I could kind of choose whether I wanted to tank with the Guardian Druid or a Blood Death Knight. So yeah. And that's our intro, guys. That's our intro. And yeah, so I'm just opening up this Najtar. I'm gonna go get my 475 weapon and get a bunch of benthic gear for nice and cheap, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so I'd just like to say, yes, I know I said 475 weapon. I'm too lazy to go edit that part out. So I will just correct my mistake this way. So there is no 475 weapon. I meant to say 375. And yeah, so don't go to Najtar trying to find some 475 weapon. Like, literally, there is no 475 weapon in the game yet. Like, literally, it doesn't exist. Okay, so now that I've shown you how much of a tool I am in a matter of the first 3 minutes, let's go actually do the video. So, today's video is going to be mainly a look at my alts. I decided that for this week's episode, I would show you guys what I've been doing daily on all the alts and what my goal is for their participation in the gold challenge. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's start with the Blacksmith. The Blacksmith, I went over to see what I really wanted to be our gold selling item for the Blacksmith, and we settled on the mono hardened stirrups. That quickly faded. I do have them. They are, at the moment, trying to be sold, but literally it took maybe 3 minutes. Like, I refreshed the page, didn't even leave this auction yet, and that 900 very quickly turned into 100. Someone completely undercut, and yeah, Yeah, it is. They are not worth 900 on the server anymore. On this one, anyway. Maybe they are on yours. But yeah, so it went to 100. However, they're so fucking easy to make that I'm just gonna kind of take my losses, sell them for whatever I can get, which I guess is 100, and then be done with it. I don't think I'm gonna actually bother with the blacksmith anymore. That was the only real item I wanted to sell. I did check into the mount equipment, and the mount equipment just isn't selling that well either. As for gear, I am not going to make any gear. I feel it's worthless because of benthic gear being in the picture, and it has a higher item level. The gear you make over here is 375, benthic's 385. However, when people gear their alts with the benthic gear, they're only able to get like your gear other than azurite and weapon. So I may make a weapon. However, I scrapped like 15 items, got 1 expulsum, so I am not going to farm it over here. We're only going to make the weapon if my druid happens to loot some BOEs and the blacksmith scraps them and gets expulsum. Okay, so next up we have my hunter. My hunter is a jewel crafter. And I'm pretty sure you can guess, or you could just look at the screen, what the best way to make some money off the jewel crafter would be. Unfortunately for the jewel crafter, gems are shit. They are complete shit for selling. Yeah, I give gems away. I just like toss them in the guild bank and just say, here you go. Like, that's how worthless they are. You might as well just, dump them anywhere. So the mounts is kind of the go-to, and in this video, you do see me go to the auction house again to show you what the value is, and the value is still not too bad. I will not be making the jeweled onyx. The jeweled onyx is just way too much work for a possible sell, because we don't know until it actually sells how bad competition's going to be, right? So what I'm going to do is I have pretty much all the mats. If you look, you can see right here that I guess before I even did the gold challenge, I must have had that thought process. Maybe I was just going to sell mounts for the hell of it. I don't know. But that's the only reason I would be holding on to those gems. So yeah, I must have thought of that already. As you can see, we're lacking some living steel, so I will have to get my hands on that. As far as the reagent mat, not a big deal. Once we have everything else, I do have enough living steel that we could craft one. We could craft 1 panther right now. We're not going to, because I don't have enough money on this character to actually go buy the reagent. So I will have to send some money over to the jewel crafter. But I think that's what we're going to do. We will have that in next week's video. So I will craft one of these mounts. I'll figure out which one would be the better one to sell. The way I figure that out is I go to the auction house and I try to find one that's not on there. A lot of the time, panthers are pretty popular and they're not really that tough to make. So there's probably going to be a couple of each, but that is the path I like to take for selling. So if, a yellow one isn't on there, then obviously I'm going to craft a yellow one and sell that. So that is the plan for the jewel crafter. So I am going to continue making living steel and, and getting whatever we need for these mounts. And that's how we are going to do that. Last I looked, the mounts are, they're kind of cheap, considering. Because the last time I made these mounts was in the current expansion. It was like in Pandaland. It's been a while since I made these mounts. And I was making a killing in that expansion. These mounts were going for so much. Like, even the Onyx Jewel, I was selling that one for almost 300,000 in Pandaland. And now it's, what, like 80,000. So it's quite a difference. But yeah. Yeah, the Pandaland was a nice, rich moment for me, gold-wise. But we can still profit off of it. I believe the regular ones are going for 40K and the jeweled is going for 80. Like I said, I'm not going to bother with the jeweled because, you know, to make the jeweled, you got to make all 4 and then combine. It's just too much work. I'd rather test my luck on the 4 separate mounts. Okay, so next up is the priest. Now, once again, I did have a plan for the priest, and that plan quickly failed. The plan was the bags, and the bags would be a great sell. Those bags are going for 900 gold a piece, but I don't think that's enough. For bags that take, you know, quite a bit of cloth and shit, I just do not think that's enough. Could not auction it off. I have 2 of those bags, and then I had like one of the lower end just sitting in my bank. And honestly, I'm going to hold on to it. You know, I know it sounds weird, like 900 gold if I just made a bunch, you know, it would add up. But I just can't do it. I've got alts that could use those bags, and, you know, 900 gold is not worth it in my mind. If that price increases, or if we get our hands on the other bag, which takes the rep that I was referring to in the last video, then maybe. But as far as that bag, no. So the tailor was a complete fail. I'm not sure what we're going to do with the tailor at the moment. Also, the embroidered bag that you see in the auction house list here, it was an idea until I found out 2 things. One, the pattern drops from world creatures. I'm literally never on the priest long enough to actually go fight stuff. You know, this is one of those alts where you level it to 120 and you're done type deal. So there's that. And then the second thing is I found out 3 of the mats, well, I won't say 3, but some of the mats is 3 hydrocore. And as you know, hydrocore is achieved in mythics. And yeah, this is not a character that does mythics, and I don't want another character that does mythics. You know, doing this, my achievements, my mount farms, and all that, and mythics on the druid is plenty. Like, that keeps me busy enough. So I don't want to be crafting anything that means I have to do mythics on another character every week. Okay, so on the topic of living steel, I thought the perfect next character to go over here would be the mage. So the mage has we got a couple of plans for the mage here. The mage is one of our busiest alts as far as helping with this challenge, because I mentioned before that the engineer's going for the sky golem, which takes living steel. And then we have the jewel crafter, who's making the panther mounts, which again takes a living steel. And also flasks are doing pretty good right now on the auction house, so we're going to start making flasks. And I believe that's it. It's really too bad that I couldn't, farm some expulsum with the mage, because the mage has the transmute. But what do you do? I really hate that expulsum is soulbound, guys. I really hate it, because I have so many different ways I could gather it, but I just happen to need it on the character that doesn't have the bonus ways. So that is the plan with the mage. So basically, the mage is just crafting things, other than the flasks, crafting items for my other alts to help them. Okay, so this is my rogue, and this is the engineer. Maybe some of you guys remember the panda garden that everyone bitched about, but I always fucking loved the garden. I'm gonna just admit it right now, guys. I love the garden, and I'll tell you why. It is a freebie place, no matter what profession you are. You know, like, honestly, I've only had my rogue out here, and I'm sitting here thinking, what the fuck am I doing? I should just park them all in the panda garden, and then I would, you know, get way more mats, right? Like, why am I not doing that? You know, I think that's what we're gonna do, because all I'm doing is just crafting shit anyway on alts. The only one that needs to be, like, near an auction house is my druid, because that's the character that does the auctioning. But other than that, I can just park them all, and they can all do the garden. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because I do need Trillium ore. Like, I am lacking that. I'm doing good on Ghost Iron, but yeah, and could maybe do the gem ones for the jewel crafter. You know, I got enough to make each mount. We just need living steel, but once we're at that point where I've made all 4 of those mounts, I'll be out of the gems, and then I could, you know, get gems that way. So highly suggest, if you are also doing a gold farm or maybe a gold challenge or whatever, use this, because there's two really great things in Pandaland to actually make gold with, and that's the Panther mounts and the Sky Golem. You know, the biggest reason, like, when I first started this challenge, the first thing that came to mind was the Sky Golem for making money. And the only reason that is because it requires no work. You know what I mean? It's a fucking mount. The only thing is it takes 30 days because it's at a daily, like, you can only make the item once a day. But other than that, it literally takes no work. You can get everything you need from this garden. To make the item takes Ghost Iron. The only reason you're after Trillium is because you will need living steel eventually to make that mount. With the Blacksmith and the Tailor, they'd be great for having out at the garden too, because they're literally doing nothing anyway. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna park all the characters except for my druid. Because my druid actually plays the game, right? So we need her out and, like, all over the place. But the rest, they're just there to help with the gold challenge at the moment. So yeah, we're gonna park them all at the garden. So as you can see, the engineer is still quite a bit away from the Sky Golem. I slacked a couple of days and didn't log in, so, you know. But that's okay. I got time, and even with this taking 30 days, I'm still going to be selling more than one Sky Golem. I got till August. That's, like, my deadline I've set. And yeah, I think we'll be done this challenge before August, to be honest. Okay, so the coarse leather barding. This is another one that kind of flopped quickly. Not as quickly as the other one that literally price dropped within 2 minutes. But a couple of days later, this price dropped pretty dramatically, and it's actually going for even less than 100. I chose it because it was going for, I think it was 600 a piece. And all it takes is coarse leather, which is easy to get your hands on. And I happen to have a lot because I've been really doing no crafting, all expansion, other than what I need to do to level up my profession. So I have the shit in the reagent bank. So I currently have like 5 of these up in the auction house. I have a total of 40 that I made when the price was higher. The other 35 are sitting in my bank. If the 5 in the auction house sell, great. If they don't, they're getting added to the bank stash, and we're gonna wait it out. Because I know this price can go up again. And yeah, investing is like key to this. And it's typically how I've made most of my money throughout all the years I've played WoW. Okay, guys, so we are back on the Druid. Or just on the Druid for the first time in this video, I guess, since we started with the Death Knight. But yeah, main character, how I have missed you. Anyway, this week was a little rougher. I will go over our spreadsheet in a minute here, guys, which I told you we would do weekly. And this week, it's been rough. Couple of things I've learned this week is pets are not selling. I have sold maybe a couple, and I know why it is. They're level 1 pets. Even if they take a little more time to get, they just don't sell because there's a level, like, there'd be a level 25 pet of that pet that's maybe 1,000 more, and I think a person's more willing to pay the 1,000 more to get the level 25 pet, right? So yeah, I think we're done trying with the pets, at least for now. I have 1 pet that I will continue to try to sell just because it's a pet you can't obtain for another year. And it was from the Thanksgiving event. If you guys watched my Thanksgiving video there, you saw that I looted one of the pets there, and I'd already had one, so I've been selling it. And its sell price right now on the server is 12,000, which is pretty good. And you can't like go obtain it right now because it's only obtainable in the Thanksgiving event. So I'm gonna keep trying my luck with that one. But the rest, no. We're gonna toss them in the guild bank, and if some of the guildies need some pets, it's there. If not, I'll try again at a later time. It's where I grab those pets to begin with, because I'm always doing like mount runs and shit, so I always loot pets that I have. So some of them did sell, but a lot of them didn't, and like every day they're just coming back to me, and yeah. I'm just sick of putting them back in the auction house, to be honest. So my advice, I guess, for the pets is use a token or whatever you want to call it, that level 25 thing. Yeah, if they aren't level 25, they basically barely sell. I won't say they don't, because I have sold some, but the chances are low if they're not a level 25 pet. Also, the skins and materials like the cloth and the skins and all that shit that you see in my bags here, they're not selling really well either. They're going for like a gold a piece, and at that point I'm ready to throw them back in the reagent bank. Like, yeah, I don't know, it's like I'm not using them, but at the same time I don't want to sell anything for a gold a piece. Like, yeah, The Kyperite, that's from, I think that was Pandaland. I just saw it and my reagent took it out. Like, a lot of this was from my reagent. Those keys, I had a ton of them, so took them out. I've sold a couple, but, you know, once again, I'm not selling them all. I'm selling like 10, because the more you sell, the more you pay in deposit. And the reality is someone's going to come undercut you anyway. And, you know, at that point, you've lost all that money, right? So I just do it in small little batches. I don't sell all of it at once. Okay, so we're on the spreadsheet now. I am gonna just draw out a little box here to highlight week 2, so it's a little easier for you guys to follow. As you can see, week 2 was not very successful. This was definitely a fail week. We will have some good weeks and I'll have some bad weeks. But yeah, week 2, definitely a fail. Our total profit was basically what I set for our daily goal. So yeah, not good. Yeah, our weekly goal's 140 and we pulled off 28. So total fail there, total fail. Okay, so you're soon going to see why that is. So on the 2nd, Monday, as you can see, I forgot to put the end gold, but you know it was, you know, 484,949. Like the next day's starting gold would have been, you know, the last day's end gold. Literally just logged in to do dailies. If I recall right, 160, yeah, Monday, I think I'd only logged in just shortly before reset. I did one more batch of the Thanksgiving dailies and then it ended. So that's where the 160 comes from. And then, as you can see, I didn't log in for 4 days. So that's where a lot of our negative for this week is. Yeah, Diablo kind of sidetracked me. I was a little behind in the season over there, so I did a quick catch me up. Yeah, which went really well. Yeah, it might have failed on the WoW Gold Challenge, but over on Diablo, we did good because I did a day of that, and then the next 3 days, because I'm a crazy person, I decided to go purchase it on the PS4. And so I played over there. And of course, it took 3 days to get even remotely close to where I was on PC because I'm solo there, right? On PC, I have friends I could play with and, you know, things get done a little faster. But solo leveling 1 to 70, ugh. It took a bit. But we got there, and my character is, you know, I think I got like 50 Paragon over there and stuff. So that is the 4 days missing from here. Okay, so the 6th was Friday, and that was World Quests, literally, that's it. I just logged in, did some World Quests, and then logged out. I believe that was a hunt day where I was going through my bank on all my characters and stuff, looking for stuff that maybe I already have that I could sell. And then on Saturday, you can see that we actually made nothing because we're in the negative for that day. That day was a lot of auctioning. I auctioned off, no joke, there was 1,000 things in the auction house. Yeah, so it was a rip day, but I was willing to take the loss because I was pretty sure they'd sell. So even although it's a rip day, sometimes you gotta put money in to get money out, right? So that's kind of what that was all, you know, all about there. And then Sunday, which is the 8th, I checked the bank, the auctions sold. Not all of them. 21,945 definitely isn't the value of all of it. But, you can't expect to sell everything, right? Especially when it's literally like 1,000 things you put in there. But 21,945 is not bad. That's actually the daily goal. So we did good that day. And yeah, so the 9th is today, which is Monday. I always record these videos the day before. And not much of a profit. I hopped in, checked to see if anything else is sold, and I put more stuff in. So the 597 is stuff that's sold, but it's also including auction fees of what I put in today as well. So yeah, and I didn't write anything in there. Okay, that'll be our note. Our note for today is Rip Day will be better next week. Over at the side here, weekly goal is 140,000. That's the weekly goal every week. And weekly achieved 28,045. It was 30,452, but because on the 7th we had a negative of 2407, that's where we get 28,045. Gold spent. So gold spent 1 gold. I can't believe I've only spent 1 gold. Like, I guess I can and then I can't. Because the thing is, even although I kind of fund the guild bank, the thing is, a lot of the time that's all I spend. And the only time I really spend any money is to vendor, right? So it does make sense that I would only spend 1 gold because the guild bank's actually doing good. There's enough money in there for repairs for the amount of active players that are playing in the guild right now. So yeah, our total profit is 28,044. Really bad. We'll do better next week, guys. So that is the spreadsheet for this week. Okay, guys, so that concludes this week's episode of our 5 million gold challenge. I feel like even although this week was a rip, I think we're still doing pretty good. I am halfway to 1 million, and last week I started at 160,000. So, not too bad. Not too bad. It probably will feel a little slow moving for a bit because we're kind of playing the patient game right now. The things that I plan on selling are things that take a bit to make. But once they're made, we have a guaranteed profit. There's really not much better out there than selling mounts. Like you have the odd piece of gear that sells good, but I find that to get a piece of gear that really sells awesome, you gotta get lucky and get a world drop. It's the world drops that sell really good. So, fingers crossed, maybe we'll luck out and get a world drop, but other than that, so it may seem a little slow right now. It might not seem like we're doing too great right now, but give it time, guys. I believe out of a monthly, look at things, we're going to see a good amount of profit happening because we'll see mounts selling and all that. Okay, so that concludes today's video. For this next week, our plan, well, my plan, I know I use the word our and we a lot. It's a team project, people. It's a team project. I might be driving the car, but you guys are the passengers. I promise to not kill you. But anyway, this next week, we're going to park all the characters, well, all the alts at the garden. The druid will stay near an auction house and, out in the world type deal. Flasks will get the mage starting to brew up. So basically, other than the garden, the engineer and the mage are my busiest alts for this challenge. The engineer needs to be logged on, every day to make that 1 day item, 1 day cooldown item. And the mage needs to be making living steel. And, since I record a lot of this, I think what I'm going to do is the mage will probably be left alone till the end of the week when I make the video, and we'll get all the ore sent over and she can, make a bunch of living steel. I have been, yay for being a collector, or shall we say a WoW hoarder. But I have a lot of that primal stuff. What's it called again? I can't remember the name of it. Primal, it's like Spirit of Harmony, I think it's called. But the mage or alchemist can make a bonus living steel by using that. And I have a shitload. I'm talking hundreds of that stuff. So living steel is not going to be an issue. Not at all. Really, I'm just doing the cooldown one just because I can when I log on. But most of it's going to get done with the Spirit of Harmony. So yeah. And one other thing that I'll do is we will craft the mount. I'll do that like tomorrow. And we'll craft one of those panther mounts and stick the mount into the auction house and hope for a sell there. And yeah, that is it for that. Oh, and actually there is one more thing. The jelly farm. I think the jelly farm is the best thing, actually, because you're not spending money to make money, right? I really like the idea of the jelly farm, and I know I said I was, kind of bored of doing the jelly farm, but, and nothing, it's just like playing a game, right? When you're bored, you just stop doing it for a while and then return later, right? So I think I've taken a break enough with the jelly farm, and yeah, we'll go back to farming jellies for some cash, and that is it. That's the stuff I am going to focus for this next week, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of our gold challenge, even although we did absolutely horribly this week. But, to be honest, I'm kind of new to the challenge aspect of this. I've farmed gold many, many times in WoW, but that was before the token. I know it's going to sound very lazy-like, but for me, a lot of the time, if I just need a bit of cash, I am more than willing to just throw down $20 to Blizzard and get, 100 and what's the token at now? Like 180,000 or something like that. I do miss Legion times when they were, almost 300,000. I think it even hit 300,000 at some point, but yeah, they were selling so good then. So yeah, the last time I did like a serious gold challenge was before the token, because the minute the token came into the picture, I was buying it because I don't have time to really farm, that's why, some of these weeks will be bad because, sometimes you just don't have time. But because the goal is the auction mount, that is why I'm doing the gold challenge, because while I'm okay with slapping down $20 to get, 180,000 or whatever, I am not willing to throw down like $500 or more to get enough tokens for the mount, right? That is what brought on the challenge. It was the fact that, I'm okay with dropping, a bit of cash here and there, but not the full amount. Not the full amount. So yeah. And, yeah. So, that is the reason for this. I'll be completely honest with you guys. This is, like, there isn't going to be, like, another gold challenge right after or anything like that. Like, there always has to be a reason for me to do a gold challenge, because I don't really spend money in WoW. So I never really find the need to have a lot of gold. You know what I mean? Until something comes in the game that costs a lot of gold. But, like, I don't buy weapons, I don't buy gear, I don't buy flasks. Like, that is why I have all these alts. All these alts support each other, and my main ends up getting everything for free pretty much because of it. And then as far as money goes, because I don't really buy anything, I just collect and collect and collect. So generally, I have a minimum of, this is the lowest I've ever been, actually. I've spent a bit this expansion on mounts that were like, 400,000, 500,000, shit like that. Mounts that are tougher to get. And other than that, usually I have a minimum of 2 million gold just sitting there, just doing whatever, waiting for a good purchase to come up. And I guess the auction house is it. I never really had anything that really spoke out to me for spending money. And, like, I'm a cheap ass when it comes to money. I'm the same way in real life. But, nonetheless, we're gonna get this shit done. I know it was a bit of a long video this week. Definitely not intended. I didn't think it would run quite this long. However, obviously it's because I went over every alt. And I just thought that would be a great thing for you guys to see. So I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And maybe next week we'll have more of a profit. Bye, guys.